Greetings, this is Reverend U.A. McCormick of True Vow Temple. In this presentation, the 10th of 10 parts, I will be talking about the Hoben, or Skillful Means chapter, whose initial prose passage is recited in the morning and evening devotional practice and other services of Nichiren Buddhism. In the 9th video in this series on the Hoben passage that we recite in Nichiren Shu services, we covered this portion that lists the 10 suchnesses. That is to say, of all dharmas, suchness is this appearance, suchness is this nature, suchness is this entity, suchness is this power, suchness is this activity, suchness is this cause, suchness is this condition, suchness is this effect, suchness is this recompense, and suchness is this ultimate equality of beginning and end. This portion is repeated 3 times. Why is this? The reason for it is explained in a writing attributed to Nichiren Shonin called the Ichinen Sanzen Hoben, the Dharma Gate of the 3,000 Realms in a Single Thought Moment. This particular writing is not authenticated, but neither can it be proved that Nichiren Shonin didn't write it. Nevertheless, the portion of that letter that explains the reason for repeating the 10 suchnesses 3 times is based on a passage from Tiantai Juri's Profound Meaning of the Lotus Sutra, a source that Nichiren Shonin cited constantly in his authenticated works and held as an authoritative work on the true meaning of the Lotus Sutra in Buddhism itself. In the Profound Meaning of the Lotus Sutra, Master Tiantai Juri said, depending on the meaning, there are 3 ways of reading these phrases. The first, this appearance is suchness, this nature is suchness, all the way down to this recompense is suchness. The second, suchness is this appearance, suchness is this nature, all the way down to suchness is this recompense. The third, their appearance and suchness are this, their nature and suchness are this, down to their recompense and suchness are this. If all are called suchness, then the name suchness is not different from the meaning of emptiness. If one reads it as suchness is this appearance, suchness is this nature, then the nominal designations of the appearance and nature of emptiness are established as different. This is the meaning of provisional. If one reads it as their appearance and suchness are this, then it refers to the true reality of the middle way. This is the meaning of the middle. The Dharma Gate of the 3,000 Realms in a Single Thought Moment opens with the following statement. What is it that makes the Lotus Sutra superior to other sutras? It is because this sutra contains the concepts of the threefold contemplation in a single mind and the 3,000 realms in a single thought moment. The threefold contemplation in a single mind means that in a single thought moment, one simultaneously contemplates all 3 aspects of the threefold truth. The threefold truth is the term applied by Juri to explain reality in 3 aspects. The truth of emptiness, or the ultimate truth that all phenomena are empty of self-nature and non-substantial in essence. The truth of provisionality, or conventional truth that all phenomena are temporary manifestations produced by causes and conditions. And the truth of the middle, or the true reality of all things, which cannot be explained in either negative or affirmative terms. According to Juri, in the perfect teaching, as presented in the Lotus Sutra, a complete understanding of any of these 3 aspects is necessarily also a complete understanding of the other 2. This is because there is never simply emptiness. Emptiness refers to the emptiness of conditioned phenomena that have no substantial existence, and if there is a provisionally existent phenomena, then it will be empty of substantial existence. The middle way is the truth that there is no emptiness without provisional existence, and no provisional existence that is not empty. The importance of the threefold truth is that if things are empty, then they cannot become objects of entanglement, but as provisionally existent, they are both the workings of delusion and the unfolding of compassionate skillful means. Therefore, in the middle way, there is both liberation and engagement. The 3,000 realms in a single thought moment is Juri's teaching that in a single thought moment there are the 10 realms, that each embrace the 10 realms, so that there are 100 realms. These realms are the 6 realms of transmigration, the realms of the hell-dwellers, hungry ghosts, animals, asuras, humans, and gods, and the 4 higher realms of the voice-hearers who hear the Buddha's teaching, put them into practice, and attain liberation, the privately awakened ones who attain liberation through their own solitary contemplations, the bodhisattvas who strive for Buddhahood, and the Buddhas. These 10 realms mutually possess one another and are not distinct because they all share the 10 suchnesses, which we discussed in the previous video. The 100 realms multiplied by the 10 suchnesses bring us to 1,000 realms. These 1,000 become 3,000 realms when we multiply them by the 3 categories of existence, which are the category of the 5 aggregates, comprised of form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness, the category of sentient beings functioning as a whole, and the category of the environments of those sentient beings. Nichiren Shu emphasized this teaching of Tiantai Juri because it means that in every moment of awareness, all realms are present, and therefore there is always the possibility of realizing and manifesting Buddhahood. And even if one does not, the skillful means of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are inconspicuously at work in all our lives. The Dharma Gate of the 3,000 realms in a single thought moment also makes use of Juri's teaching of the 3 tracks of the threefold Dharma from the profound meaning of the Lotus Sutra in explaining the 3 repetitions of the 10 suchnesses. This is a bit complex, but I will try to present a basic overview of this material so that we will know what is being referred to. We must begin with what Juri called the 10 subtleties, or wonders of the Trace Gate, in Japanese, Shakuman Jumyo. These are 10 wonderful things about the first half of the Lotus Sutra, of which the portion of the Skillful Means chapter that we are discussing here is considered a key passage. It begins with the subtlety of objects, which refer to things like the 10 suchnesses, the 12-fold chain of dependent origination, the 4 noble truths, or the threefold truth, that are taken as objects for contemplation. The subtlety of knowledges refers to the various kinds of knowledge that come from such contemplations and are ultimately beyond words. The subtlety of practices refers to various practices that are guided by knowledge and lead to wisdom. In a sense, knowledge is like the eyes and practice is like the feet, that together can bring one to the cool pond of the perfection of wisdom. The subtlety of stages refers to the various stages of practice that lead to liberation and ultimately Buddhahood. The subtlety of the threefold Dharma refers to the 3 aspects of the one Buddha vehicle, the truth of the supreme meaning, the realization of emptiness as the supreme meaning, and the functioning of the Tathagatagarbha, or Buddha nature. These 3 are also described as the 3 tracks that encompass all the causes and effects of attaining Buddhahood. We will be looking at this more closely later. The subtlety of receptivity and response refers to the subtlety of the Buddha's wholesome influence and assistance given in response to the needs of sentient beings in accord with their capacity or receptivity to his teachings. The receptivity of sentient beings is like a pond that can reflect the moon above, while the Buddha's response is like the moon reflecting in the pond below, even though neither pond nor moon actually moves. The subtlety of supernatural powers refers to the subtle activities of the Buddha to assist sentient beings using various miraculous powers. The subtlety of expounding the Dharma refers to the Buddha's subtle expounding of the Dharma in the form of the various kinds of sutras, both Mahayana and Hinayana. The subtlety of attendance refers to the subtle nature of the Buddha's attendants with their own activities, supernatural powers, vows, responses, and teachings. The attendants of the Buddha are compared to the clouds that hide the moon, or the retinue that accompanies an emperor. The subtlety of merits and benefits refers to the merits and benefits of cause and effect enjoyed by sentient beings, culminating in the attainment of Buddhahood. Of these 10 wonders, it is the subtlety of the threefold Dharma that we are most concerned with here. Juri classifies all reality into the threefold Dharma, consisting of 1. The track of true nature, that is the truth of the supreme meaning; 2. The track of contemplative illumination, that is the realization of emptiness as the supreme meaning; and 3. The track of fulfilling potential, that is the function of the Buddha nature. The three tracks correspond respectively to the principle, knowledge, and practice of Buddhism, to the entity, gist, and function of the 5 categories of profound meaning of the Lotus Sutra, to the first 3 of the 10 subtleties of the trace gate that we just covered, the subtleties of objects, knowledges, and practices, and to the threefold truth, the truths of the middle, emptiness, and provisionality. The 3 tracks are in effect the content or cause and effect of the one Buddha vehicle in terms of all the elements of its unfolding from beginning to end. Only in the perfect teaching are they truly integrated. The 3 tracks also correspond to the 10 suchnesses, and through them they run through all of the 10 realms. The track of fulfilling potential correlates with the suchness of appearance, activity, condition, and recompense, since these deal with observable activity. The track of contemplative illumination correlates with the suchness of nature, power, cause, and effect, since these deal primarily with mental states, delusions, insights, decisions, and determinations. The track of true nature correlates with the suchness of an entity that deals with what is both external and internal. All these tracks correlate with the suchness of beginning and end ultimately equal. The 3 tracks also progressively run through 10 sets of 3. The beginning is the threefold path of ignorance, consisting of suffering, defilements, and karma. In order to reverse the current of samsara, or wandering in the 6 lower realms, one must understand the threefold consciousness, consisting of the pure consciousness, or 9th, the storehouse consciousness, or the 8th, that stores all of our memories and habit patterns, and the appropriating consciousness, or the 7th, that appropriates all that we experience in terms of I, me, and mine. One must then come to know the threefold Buddha nature, consisting of the Buddha nature of the direct cause, that is our oneness with reality, the Buddha nature the completing cause, that is our innate wisdom, and the Buddha nature the conditional causes, that is our innate ability to act in accordance with reality. By doing that, one can develop the threefold prajna, or wisdom, consisting of the wisdom of the true nature, the wisdom of contemplative illumination, and the wisdom of words and letters. One must then arouse the threefold bodhi, or awakening, consisting of the awakening of the true nature, the awakening of true wisdom, and the awakening of skillful means. One then practices the threefold Mahayana, consisting of the vehicle as principle, the vehicle as in accord with wisdom, and the vehicle as attainment. Through practice, one comes to manifest the 3 bodies, consisting of the Dharma body, the reward body, and the accommodative body, and attains the threefold nirvana, consisting of the nirvana of the purity of nature, the nirvana of the purity of perfection, and the nirvana of the purity of skillful means. In this way, the 3 treasures consisting of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha are established. The final result is a perfection of Buddhahood that consists of the 3 virtues of the Dharma body, wisdom, and liberation. These 10 sets of 3 tracks are meant to show the progress of our practice, beginning with the threefold path of ignorance and culminating in the 3 virtues. All of this is an unfolding of our true nature, our ability to contemplate and illuminate our true nature, and the fulfillment of our potential. Now that we have covered Juri's teaching from the profound meaning of the Lotus Sutra, we will be able to understand the Dharma gate of the 3,000 realms in a single thought moment's explanation about the 10 suchnesses. It says, the 3,000 realms in a single thought moment, and the Dharma gate of the threefold contemplation in a single mind are derived from the 10 suchnesses of the first fascicle of the Lotus Sutra. The heart of this passage consists of the 300 realms, 1,000 suchnesses, and 3,000 realms. Now the other schools take the threefold contemplation in a single mind as referring to suchness, but this is only a part of it, because there are 2 other meanings. They do not know of the august teachings of Tiantai and Nanyue. Therefore, in our school, we follow the explanation of Tiantai that the merit of reading the 10 suchnesses passage 3 times is superior. The first reading, this appearance is suchness, zei so nyo, means that appearance, nature, entity, power, and the rest of the 10 are suchness. Because suchness means emptiness, all 10 Dharma realms are the truth of emptiness. When reading and contemplating this, our body is the Tathagata of the reward body. It is also called the 84,000 teachings, and also prajna, or wisdom. Here is how this reading would look and sound. Shoi sho ho ze so nyo ze sho nyo ze tai nyo ze riki nyo ze sa nyo ze in nyo ze en nyo ze ka nyo ze ho nyo ze hon matsu kukyo to nyo. That is to say, of all dharmas, this appearance is suchness, this nature is suchness, this entity is suchness, this power is suchness, this activity is suchness, this cause is suchness, this condition is suchness, this effect is suchness, this recompense is suchness, and this ultimate equality of beginning and end is suchness. The second reading, suchness is this appearance, nyo-ze so, means that appearance manifests the color and shape of our bodies. If you have appearance, nature, entity, power, and the rest of the 10, then the 10 Dharma realms are the truth of provisionality, meaning that their existence is provisional. When reading and contemplating this, our body is the Tathagata of the accommodated body, and also liberation. This is the reading as it appears in Kumarajiva's Lotus Sutra, which is what we usually recite. Shoi sho ho nyo ze so nyo ze sho nyo ze tai nyo ze riki nyo ze sa nyo ze in nyo ze en nyo ze ka nyo ze ho nyo ze han matsu kukyo to. That is to say, of all dharmas, suchness is this appearance, suchness is this nature, suchness is this entity, suchness is this power, suchness is this activity, suchness is this cause, suchness is this condition, suchness is this effect, suchness is this recompense, and suchness is this ultimate equality of beginning and end. The third reading, their appearance and suchness are thus. So nyo ze means the middle way, the Dharma body of the Buddha. When reading and contemplating this, our body is the Tathagata of the Dharma body. It is also called the middle way, the Dharma nature, nirvana, and tranquil extinction. Here is how this reading would look and sound. Shoi sho ho so nyo ze sho nyo ze tai nyo ze riki nyo ze sa nyo ze in nyo ze en nyo ze ka nyo ze ho nyo ze hon matsu kukyo to nyo ze. That is to say, of all dharmas, their appearance and suchness are thus, their nature and suchness are thus, their entity and suchness are thus, their power and suchness are thus, their activity and suchness are thus, their cause and suchness are thus, their condition and suchness are thus, their effect and suchness are thus, their recompense and suchness are thus, and their ultimate equality of beginning and end and suchness are thus. The Dharma gate of the 3,000 realms in a single thought moment goes on to say, these three are also referred to as the three bodies of Dharma body, reward body, and accommodative body. The three truths of emptiness, provisionality, and the middle are the three virtues of the Dharma body, prajna, and liberation. The three bodies of a Tathagata are not external. Our bodies are the entity of the consummate three virtues, and the three bodies are the one body of the Buddha of original awakening. Knowing this, we may be called Tathagatas, sages, or enlightened. Not knowing this, we are ordinary people, sentient beings, and deluded. There is much more said about these things in the Dharma gate of the 3,000 realms in a single thought moment, but we will conclude with this. What all of this means is that when we recite the 10 suchnesses 3 times, we are commemorating the wonder of the threefold Dharma as taught by Jerry in the profound meaning of the Lotus Sutra. And by commemorating this, we are calling upon and honoring the true nature of all that is, because this true nature is the middle way, is emptiness, is provisional existence, and therefore is the threefold body of the Buddha, our threefold Buddha nature, and the Dharma body, wisdom, and liberation that is unfolding always and everywhere. I now bring this 10th of a 10-part presentation on the Skillful Means chapter of the Lotus Sutra to a close. I look forward to your questions and comments. May the merits of this talk on the Dharma extend universally to all, so that we and all living beings together accomplish the Buddha way.